Okay, let's dive right in. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are embarking on a seriously cool journey. We're going to try to bridge the massive gap between the raw, edge of your seat, absolutely unpredictable live action of the 2026 FIFA World Cup and the incredibly structured, complex world of advanced machine learning. That's right, we are looking at how mathematicians and data scientists are literally trying to do the impossible: predict the beautiful game.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. The opening kickoff. 2. Meet Group A. 3. Predicting the unpredictable. 4. The math behind the game. And finally, number 5, the top contenders.
Now, the fundamental question we really have to ask ourselves right up front is this: can cold, calculated logic, algorithms, massive data sets, complex probability models, can they truly forecast the wild, passionate, and often entirely unpredictable nature of football? Well, let's find out.
Starting us off, Section 1, the opening kickoff.
Okay, before we even touch the math, we have to talk about the reality of the tournament that just kicked off. The visceral, heart-pounding excitement of that opening match at the legendary Estadio Azteca. Yeah, a spreadsheet just can't completely capture that. And this brings us to a perfect real-world example of that chaos. 3. That is the number of red cards handed out by Brazilian referee Wilton Sampaio during Mexico's 2-0 opening win against South Africa. 2 went to South Africa, 1 went to Mexico. It proves that right out of the gate, referees are absolutely not afraid to make massive game-altering calls on the world stage. So how on earth does an algorithm predict that level of sudden human drama? And actually, it gets even more complicated when you factor in the new tournament variables. Under the new 2026 FIFA World Cup rules, we're seeing mandatory hydration breaks midway through each half just to deal with the intense North American summer heat. But maybe even more impactful, we're seeing strict 1-minute substitution limits. Basically, if a player drags their feet and delays, they risk a 1-minute wait before their replacement can even enter the pitch. These rules are actively, right in front of our eyes, changing the rhythm, the flow, and the sheer unpredictability of the matches. Moving right along to Section 2, Meet Group A. Before we go full matrix into the data models, let's blend the human element with the stats for a second. Let's look at the clear contrast in global standings and star power just within Group A alone. You've got 15th ranked Mexico, powered by veteran Raul Jimenez, who, by the way, just scored his first ever World Cup goal in that chaotic opener we just talked about, playing alongside their 17-year-old wonder kid Gilberto Mora. Contrast them with 60th ranked South Africa, who are relying super heavily on their penalty-saving goalkeeper Ronwin Williams. Then you throw in 25th ranked South Korea, relying on the absolute legend Son Heung-min, and finally the Czech Republic sitting at rank 40, bringing their Euro 2020 hero Patrick Schick. This right here, this is the human baseline navigating these exact new conditions. Now let's see what the machines make of it all.
All right, Section 3, predicting the unpredictable.
So pivoting straight from the pitch to the data lab, researchers from the Journal of Innovative Applied Mathematics and Computational Sciences built this exact research methodology framework. And to build a predictive model for this specific 2026 tournament, these researchers didn't just take a wild guess. No way. They collected a staggering 23,921 historical match results, pulling from Kaggle and official FIFA records. They fed literally decades of player stats, team rankings, and match locations into this framework just to train their algorithms. But before the really complex math begins, the model has to establish a fundamental historical truth. Based on all that historical data, the baseline probability reveals that roughly 49.2% of matches result in a win, 28.3% are losses, and 22.5% end in a draw. This is the bedrock. This is the foundation. And from here, well, the math gets a whole lot more sophisticated. Which brings us nicely to Section 4, the math behind the game. So, how do researchers actually take that simple baseline and predict specific 2026 matches? The absolutely crucial point here is understanding this one concept: Bayesian logistic regression. I know, it sounds super intimidating, but it's actually incredibly logical. It's essentially a dynamic, probabilistic method where predictions are constantly updated the second new evidence arrives. Think of it like this, a relatable fan analogy. You walk into the stadium fully believing your team will win based on how they played all season, right? In data terms, that's your prior belief. But then, in the opening 10 minutes, your star defender gets a straight red card. Ouch! You instantly in your head update your prediction of the match outcome based on that massive new piece of evidence. That updated belief, that's the posterior. Bayesian math simply does this computationally on a massive scale, continuously updating probabilities as new tournament data rolls in. It's brilliant.
And what we're looking at here perfectly illustrates exactly what the machine is calculating behind the scenes. Based on all their historical feature engineering, the model precisely quantified the strengths of these teams. On the left, you can clearly see Argentina holds the highest offensive score at an impressive 89. Meanwhile, on the right, Spain holds the greatest defensive score at 86.5. So the algorithms are just constantly weighing these intense offensive and defensive metrics against each other to simulate the match outcomes.
But listen, Bayesian regression wasn't flying solo here. The researchers also brought in a heavy-hitting gradient boosting tree model called CatBoost. See, football data is absolutely full of what data scientists call categorical features, things like team names, match locations, or even weather conditions, things that aren't just straight numbers. CatBoost is uniquely powerful because it handles these complex variables super efficiently without needing explicit encoding. And this is huge, it automatically manages missing data. So it basically acts as a powerhouse alongside the Bayesian model to process the very messy, very human reality of football stats. All right, the moment of truth. Section 5, the top contenders.
Okay, we've seen the human drama, the massive data sets, and the math. But before we reveal the ultimate predicted winner, you kind of need to see why you should even trust the machine in the first place. This confusion matrix, generated during the testing phase, totally proves it. See those solid dark squares running diagonally across? That shows exactly where the model's predicted labels perfectly matched the true, actual historical labels of wins, draws, and losses. The end result? This CatBoost model achieved a frankly astounding 99.14% prediction accuracy when tested against unseen historical match data. I mean, it really knows its football history.
So, with a 99% accuracy rate, who does the algorithm say will actually take home the trophy? Well, drumroll please, here is the model's official countdown of the top 5 contenders in order of superiority. Coming in at number 5, the Netherlands. Squeaking in at number 4, France. Number 3 goes to the defensive powerhouse themselves, Spain. The runner-up, sitting at number 2, is Brazil. And the ultimate, data-driven, mathematically predicted winner of the 2026 FIFA World Cup is Argentina. Thanks in huge part to their unparalleled offensive metrics, the machine heavily favors the South American giants to take it all.
But, and this is a big but, we absolutely must ground these mathematical predictions back in reality for a second. The researchers themselves were very quick to point out some critical limitations. For instance, the model did not have access to the most recent 2026 team qualifying match data. It also didn't specifically account for the unique, high-pressure structure of the knockout stage. And, crucially, at the end of the day, algorithms still cannot account for every single piece of real-world human drama. A mathematical model just cannot predict a sudden twisted ankle, a torrential downpour, or a referee deciding to hand out 3 red cards in an opening match, exactly like we saw with Mexico and South Africa.
Which leaves us with this final, truly provocative thought to wrap up this explainer. You have seen the 99% accuracy of these incredible models, but you have also seen the red cards, the unexpected goals, and the wildly unpredictable human emotion of the players on the pitch. So I'm passing the ball to you. Do you actually trust the algorithm's calculation that Argentina is destined to win, or do you believe the beautiful, chaotic reality of the World Cup will once again completely defy the data? Keep that in the back of your mind as you watch the rest of the tournament unfold. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and hey, enjoy the games!